live from your mom's studio. Go on, man.
It's going pretty good. How are you?
Doing good, man. I'm really excited because March Madness started last week as far as like for wrestling. Last week it was D2 and D3 Nationals, and this week is D1 Nationals. So the middle of it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah. How many matches are there for that?
It used to be 32 man bracket, so it's 10 weight classes.
Okay.
But they added a pigtail. So it's 33 men, and then the 32 and 33rd seat in the tournament, they ratio each other for like a preliminary, and they advance to the championship bracket. And then the thing about it is, if you lose the first round, you have a long way back to place third place. That's the some people consider that the toughest tournament in the world. You got the wasteland.
Really?
Yeah, because you have to. Okay, so the first two, you win the first two today, you advance to quarterfinals. So anybody like that lost the first 2 days, um, they wrestle each other, and then like then they have to wrestle back. Like I think last year, one of the guys from Penn State, he lost in the first round. He had to win back like I think it was like 7 matches to place third place. So you're the
Dang.
championship of the losers.
Wow. It is cool though that there's an opportunity. Like if you just had a bad match that first time, you can get it back.
Mhm.
Although, yeah, I mean, it does sound like that's gonna be some serious work, but
It's a long way you have to because if you win all of this, the first two, then the quarters, semis, you have to win 5 matches. But I think if you win the first three, you can say All American.
wow.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. To win the first three, you have to at least win three to be All American.
Okay.
Because if you lose in the semis, you have to wrestle in the consolations, and then you have to semis in the in the consolation bracket. And then if you lose there, you wrestle for fifth place.
Okay.
But if you lose in the quarterfinals in the consolation, you wrestle for seventh and eighth place. The top eight get All American at the podium.
Interesting. I did not realize that.
Yeah,
How often has that happened where somebody's lost the first round and wrestled all the way through?
I'm not sure, but yeah, it is a nightmare though
Yeah.
because you have to wrestle all the way through.
Mhm. It has happened though.
Yeah, it is happened. The one that I can't remember is Penn State. I can't remember who the name of the guy is. I think it's 130 pounder. I think who it was that he like wrestled back for. But man, it's your chance of like placing is like narrow because you have to be everybody that are like in front of you. You have the whole
Yeah.
bracket in front of you, and to survive, not just to stay in the tournament, to survive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this tournament is okay. So because of COVID, NCAA's they put a exception for you to wrestle an extra year, but you have to wrestle the postseason of the 2021 season. This guy from Little Rock Wrestling Program, they are one of those like up and coming programs when it comes to wrestling. But this season they had this guy. His name is Tyler Brennan. He didn't wrestle that season postseason, but he was wrestling for his fifth year. He won the conference to qualify for nationals, but he's ineligible. They didn't realize that until he already qualified for nationals. He wrestled the whole season. Yeah. So they have to make a decision if he's going to wrestle for it or not. Then I think it was yesterday they released. It's the head coach released a statement about that they were going to he wasn't going to wrestle for nationals. So the guy think that another guy was actually allowed to wrestle in his spot.
Okay.
And I think about it that the conference that his name is Pac-12, and that conference only has 4 teams. So only one guy out of the whole bracket makes it to nationals. Anybody else don't make it.
That's some crazy stuff going on in wrestling.
Yeah. He made it the national as a super senior, but he's ineligible. He was supposed to be wrestling anyways.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel bad for the program because they're up and coming program and like tarnishes their recruiting and all their reputation as a program.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's yeah. It's not like hockey where they're intentionally grabbing guys from like the 6 year guys.
Yeah, yeah. Like well, some of the guys like that were wrestling last season and the one before that one, some of them were in the seventh year of wrestling.
Mm. Yeah.
So like, what? Usually you go to school for your bachelor's. Like, how many degrees do you get out of there?
Listen, man.
Because you have okay, so you have your redshirt year. You have if you have you try to qualify for the Olympics, you have your Olympic year, which is 2020. Then you have a COVID year, and you have 4 more years. That's 7 years right there in college.
Yeah. That's they like their education.
Yeah, then the 8 year program. Now, if you have an injury redshirt, like for example, you got injured during one season, you can use that as another redshirt year. So you
Really?
you,
Okay.
you keep your year as eligible.
Yeah. That's
And
cool.
this year, that's the first time I think they did. If you only have, I think it's 10 matches, you can still redshirt.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't lose a year. So
Yeah.
they give some of the guys, the newer guys, some exposure to like higher level wrestling without having to lose a eligibility.
That's really interesting. I didn't realize that went into it.
That's another ruling that for this year. Before, if you wrestled JUCO, junior college, that was 2 years of your eligibility.
Oof.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I don't think JUCO is part of the NCAA's. They have their own like wrestling delegation to have the junior college like for nationals or consider 2 years taken off. Like DC, that's they came. I think he went to Colby. He wrestled 2 years there, and he wrestled 2 years in Oklahoma State. Other people that are like that, like um, well, John Jones was a junior college as a national champion, Iowa Central. But now, NCAA ruling, they don't consider that as losing 2 years. So if you transfer for junior college to Division One, Division Two, you can still have 4 years eligible to wrestle.
I thought you said they were counting that as 2 years now.
Yeah, they were before, but now this year they changed that ruling.
Wow. Wow. That's a big benefit right there.
Yeah. So they consider that now junior college is considered like high school, like a high school transfer for
Yeah. Yeah.
going to college.
I imagine that's going to be a big deal for some people getting some couple extra years there.
Yeah,
That's huge.
yeah, it is. Especially like NIL deals. I can't remember how much Carlos Rocha is getting paid right now. It's like six. He has a 6 figure contract. 4 time national champions, going for his fifth one. And like he he has made in there. I mean, he won in like 4 years, which is like really rare.
Yeah. Yeah. I would imagine. I mean, that's yeah.
Before 2013, I think there was only two guys, Pat Smith and Cal Sanderson. And because back in the day, you were not allowed to wrestle your freshman year. You had to start wrestling your sophomore year, and you were like 3 time national. That's like most you to win. Because freshmen were not allowed to compete. Then Pat Smith won four. Cal Sanderson, I think his record was like 158 and 0 in college, undefeated, 4 time nationals.
Dang.
Yeah,
That's crazy. That
yeah. I think his junior year he beat DC in the finals.
really
Yeah, it's
just to
crazy.
show what caliber you're talking. Like
Oh
he
yeah,
wasn't just winning against slouches.
oh yeah. He was just beating the whole field. And then after 2013, you had Kyle Dake, Kid Dynamite. That's not impressive because he was 4 time national champions in 4 different weight classes: 141, 149, 157, 165. 4 different weight classes.
Hmm. How did that work out well for him, I wonder? Did he like move up weight classes like intentionally?
Yeah,
Was he growing?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because he didn't want to wait. He was wrestling at Cornell. He was wrestling 141 and then 149. He felt like it was good. And also, the guys that he was beating in those weight classes, they were like national, like all Americans. They're like considered that they're like Derek St. John. He's right now the assistant coach for Iowa State. He's the one he beat at 157, like a good guy. And then another guy that he beat in his last year was David Taylor, in which he was the Haas Trophy winner for the previous year, which is like the Heisman Trophy in college wrestling. That's what he faced in the finals of the national championship, and he beat him early in the season.
Wow.
Yeah, and just to tell you how impressive his record is, David Taylor that was talking, the other guy I was talking about, they call him the Magic Man. He only lost 3 matches his whole college career. The first one was in national finals. His freshman year, he got pinned by a guy that used to be his teammate in Penn State.
Mm.
And the other two was Cal Day, one in the Southern Scuffle and the national finals. His junior year. Yeah, he wasn't afraid. He was a gunslinger. Okay, I'm gonna go up there and be whoever is the best guy up there.
That's hard to imagine. It really is. It's just like the amount of matches that is, the amount of like even like in that time must have had bad days, but still came out on top.
Yeah,
Like
and
that's crazy.
the crazy thing about it, they were best friends. Him and David Taylor out of high school because they used to compete all the time, like in national tournaments, things like that. They will always like hang out together and things like that. Like actually, the name Magic Man came from whenever they would give each other a nickname. For example, I've seen Talladega Night, the Magic Man, the El
Yeah,
Diablo. That's why he gave him the nickname, the Magic Man.
that's funny.
But that's what he just stuck, and they were like they had documentary about it. They call it the best of enemies because they were
Yeah,
so good together, but also like they face each other.
yeah. That's hard to even comprehend for me. That's so
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah,
And the good thing about it is breaks like iron sharpens iron. So whenever they went to senior level, it was tough because you had the three guys. You had Jordan Burroughs, which was the guy that was beating everybody in the world. Then you had the other two that were the same weight classes. Kyle Dake, 4-time national champion, and 2-time national champion, 4-time finalist David Taylor. So Burroughs beat Kyle Dake. Kyle Dake beat David Taylor. That's what usually went. It used to be 4 weight classes, but then they expanded the weight classes in worlds. So Jordan Burroughs was 163, Kyle Dake 174, David Taylor 189, and they were beating the whole world. That lineup. I mean, David Taylor is the worst out of the three. He was 3-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist.
yeah, real slacker.
Yes, like, but but meanwhile, Kyle Dake only won bronze twice. He never won gold in the Olympics, but I think he's like 5-time world champion
That's interesting.
because he had to go in different weight classes because he wrestled like worlds. He has to wrestle 174, but to win in the gold in the Olympics, he has to wrestle 163 because there's no 174 in the Olympics.
Okay, so yeah, just more of a cut than he was used to. Yeah,
Hmm. That's a shorter period of time too.
really.
Yeah, because remember
Yeah.
the Olympics is weird. For example, it's not as long the tournament,
Hmm.
but because the NCAA is a nightmare. But in there, I think you have to win two to get bronze
Okay.
in there. So you wrestle and you advance. But if you lose, the guy that you lost again, he has to win the next match in order for you to stay alive. You didn't get to wrestle for your own. You stay in the bracket. The guy that you wrestled that you lost to, he's the one that has to win his next match so he can stay alive and wrestle back.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay, but like that's like and then the other guys, there are other guys that Logan Stever is another guy, Ohio State. He's 4-time national champion. Then you had Yannick Dichotomy at Cornell. Recently, he's 4-time national champion. And then you have Aaron Brooks and Carlos Roshi. Yeah, Penn State last year. It's like that's so crazy. How long wrestling has been going around, but in the last 12 years, you had that many 4-time national champions.
That is interesting. Yeah, you'd think, to be honest, I would think years ago it would be more likely to have like a standout
Mm-hmm.
coach or program just because like communication and like the information wasn't out there as much. So it would make sense that it would be more bunched up and you'd have this one school just always dominated back in the day. But that's interesting that it's almost more so now. Well, almost more so now, right?
Yeah, because since 2013, you have Dave, Stever, Diego Mejales, then you have five. And before that, there's only two ever.
Would you say wrestling is growing as a sport, or is it kind of just been up there?
I think it's more exposure now and there's like um more moves and things like that that go like as far as like wrestling moves, but they're usually known as that sport that's in the shopping block in case a like a sports they have to make a decision which team to cut because of budget. For example, Cleveland State they just lost their program. What's his name?
Really?
Stephen Miocic, he wrestled there, Cleveland State. I think he's the All American there. And he was trying to like root so he can like bring that team back, but they still cut the team. Their wrestling team, their women's um, softball team, and I think women's tennis, they were cut. That's cool, but it is tough. Like that's actually a battle that is like fighting for like wrestling because usually it's the one sport is in the shopping block because it doesn't get as much exposure unless
Right.
you are a wrestling fan
Right.
or you are involved in them. Now, well, there's a conversation I was having with my wife that told her that having girls in wrestling is good for the sport because girls are more likely to bring more viewers. Also, all those girls that are wrestling are going to be wrestling mom and more than likely put their kids, whether it's a girl or boy, into wrestling because they learn from it.
Yeah, that has blown up quite a bit in the
Hmm.
past few years.
Yeah, the past few years because it was a sanction in many states. So as far as like girls wrestling, but like I can remember it's like 10 times it has grown like uh, girls wrestling over the last um 2 years actually, which is good because you get more exposure to wrestling, more people bring it in there. And girls bring a different atmosphere to wrestling as far as like charisma and things like that. But girls, when they scrap for keep. You can tell when they're in the tournament, it's like, dude, they're emotional. There was like, I went to a tournament recently. This girl, she was so emotional. She was like in between like eye periods. She went to the trash can, threw up, put her headgear back on, and went back to wrestling.
Dang.
Shit, it was crazy, man.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, there's no questioning in her heart. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, like, and then I think about it was another teammate was doing the same thing, another match. Like, why did they finish this kid in 4 matches? Throwing up in the middle
What
of
do they tell them?
yeah, damn. Yeah, but yeah, and girls they go for the pin all the time. Go for the finish.
Really?
That's what my wife was saying. Like, yeah, girls, man, they go for keep the try kill each other, rip each other's head off. They're not like trying to be spaghetti wrestling over here, just sticking around like boys. They just try to pin each other. Like that's what everybody wants to see.
It's true. That's funny.
Yeah, it's true. But it is good for the sport of wrestling. And John Burrow says girls are better looking than guys. How with head with their cauliflower ears, busted nose, just like tape
True.
forehead.
True.
There's this guy that was wrestling earlier. I think he was going against Kars Hiroshi. His nose was broken so bad that he kept bleeding. That they taped his face around his nose like a mummy, so he could keep wrestling.
Oh my god.
Like wow, like dude, if that happened in your first round of the tournament, how you gonna wrestle the rest of the tournament?
With it taped? Crazy.
Walk like that Egyptian. But yeah, man. And but it is fun to like for wrestling because you see so many scrambles, different moves, like, man. And the scrambles they're like crazy, like faster pace in wrestling compared to like other like for example jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I should have sent it to you. I saw a thing, a wrestling thing on Instagram where it was a dude was like ragdolling this other dude, but like how in jiu-jitsu they preach, don't use too much energy, this sort of thing. That guy literally was picking the other dude up and just like carrying him around and then would like throw him on his back and then pick him back up. I was like, that's grueling. Like, I don't know how you keep doing that.
Yeah, that pace you have to keep, man.
Oh, that's crazy.
It feels like foot on the gas the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. But like that's one of those things. Is like not only are you like scrambling faster and pushing faster, but you're doing things that are not energy efficient. But wow, that's crazy. And that I mean they're capable of it, so why wouldn't you? You know?
That's what I think. Like, and the periods are weird. There's no break between periods. So it's 3 minutes first period, like 2 and 2. So usually one guy gets a choice in second period, and another guy gets a third period choice. If they're tied, back in the day when I was wrestling, back in the 1900s, just kidding. Back in the day of wrestling, you only have 1 minute overtime for a takedown. Now they put it 2 minutes. So whoever gets a takedown first wins. If you don't win, it's a ride out. So if I have you, I'm on top, and I ride you out the whole, it's 30 seconds period. I have 30 seconds riding time. And then I get up in the first 5 seconds, I'll win the match because I roll you out for 30 seconds. Now, if both of them get up around the same time, then we go into another overtime, 2 minutes. First takedown wins until somebody wins, ride out or takedown.
Yep. Yep. It's almost EBI rules.
Yeah, that's what that's
It's
really
probably, yeah, I was gonna say it probably was modeled after this then.
yeah, because it forces you to like to be forcing you to attack. But man, those takedowns, if you miss a takedown, you gonna get taken down. Get a
Yeah.
position.
Yeah, that's
Well, those are the matches that you train for, right?
right. Yep. Matches, yeah. You have to.
Yeah, those are the ones that count.
Right.
Because you go back like, man, if you win, it's the best of the wins. If you lose, it's the worst of losses. Because you gave it all.
Yeah.
No regrets though.
Yeah. True. Yeah,
How can you regret hard work?
well, true. Yeah, I don't think I ever have.
Yeah, like, dude, I worked my ass off. Like, do you regret doing it? I hate losing. I hate that outcome, but I don't hate that I work my ass off because
Right.
you're gonna come out better one way or another
Mhm.
out of that situation. That's like for in school, you work so hard like to learn something for like in school, and then your ass forgot you were studying the wrong topic.
Yeah, done that before.
Like I learned a lot about it. I learned a lot, but I was learning the wrong thing. That's what it's probably
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in life. Just to make sure you focus on what you're supposed to be working on.
Yeah.
It happens, man.
It does.
In
Ah,
life,
man.
another example would be like, oh yeah, I'm working on the yard, like making sure everything is cool, like so my wife sees it's cool. I forgot to take out the trash and left the freaking bathtub water running and flooded the same house. Like, like oh man, like you did good in one part, like looks nice, but the inside looks like shit because you destroyed. Ah, yeah.
Ruins the moment.
Oh yeah. Do you like the water running? Ah shit. I was getting a bathtub with bath bombs ready for you. I forgot about it. But yeah, man, it happens, man. Just being
Hmm.
well rounded is good too,
That's right. That's right.
man. Listen, recently a podcast because of Cain Velasquez is gonna get trial. No, it's not gonna get trial. He's gonna get sentenced next week. Kyle Kingsbury, he was a teammate of his at AKA. And I know they were teammates when they were junior college and teammates when they were Arizona State wrestling.
Okay.
Wow, they're like together for a while, but they were like teammates. Back in junior college, but Kyle Kingsbury said he did it for because he was a football player, and then he used did wrestling for a supplement to get better at football.
Hmm.
But Cain Velasquez, he was 2-time All American when he wrestled at Arizona State. In that team, Arizona State, they have a lot of MMA fighters. I don't know if you heard this guy, CB Dalloway, Ryan Bader.
Him I have, I think.
Um, who else came out of there? One of the coaches, I think Aaron Simpson, that's his name, came out of there. Like a lot of like guys that came out of Arizona State wrestling. They became MMA fighters.
I wonder what that is.
I'm not sure. And then they became teammates, AKA. I mean, look at the guys they had at AKA because he was there AKA before AKA was AKA. Uh, Josh Thompson was there. Um, Hero Melendez, Jake Shoes used to come down there and train from time to time. Uh, DC, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Luke Rockhold, uh, Mike Swick, Josh Koscheck. Who am I forgetting? John Fitch.
Yeah. That's quite a longer list.
Phil Baroni, we don't talk about that guy though. Phil Baroni, he was also AKA.
Okay.
He killed his wife, his girlfriend. He makes a memory talk about him. He was coked out of his mind. She was cheating on him. He was like coked out, and then the cops came in there. His girlfriend was in the bathroom, dead in the bathtub. He's been trial in
Yeah.
Mexico,
Yeah.
but he's out of AKA as well.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a wild guy.
Just got those connections.
Yeah. But also he looked like one of those guys that he was like crazy guy. He made like a pro wrestling type of guy. He used to wear short shorts, like jean shorts, like short jean shorts, one like just like a pro wrestler.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, man. Now I don't know if you want to talk about Cain Velasquez
Yeah.
situation on Segway.
That's a good segue.
Yeah, because he has a. You want to talk about it?
No, you go for it.
So like Cain Velasquez on 24th of March, he has a sentencing for attempted murder of the case. So what happened was, a relative of his was being molested in daycare that he was going to. The guy, the big on his name, it's a piece of shit. His name is Harry Goularte Jr. He's the one, and then when he found out, he chased Harry in the street, and he was trying to shoot him, kill him. Like he was shooting at the car. He struck the father of the Harry. And the fucked up thing is that Harry, his parents were running the daycare, in which that incident was happening. The chances are that all the kids that were involved as well. It's fucked up.
That is.
But because of Cain Velasquez behavior, and he struck somebody above that, and he's being a trial with attempted murder. He did some prison time while he was waiting for trial, but he pleaded guilty. And currently he's just waiting for sentencing, which is attempted first degree murder. That's what he was charged with. This happened in February 2022.
Yeah, wow. It's a brutal situation. I mean, really, I don't blame him at all. To be honest, it's probably honestly the right thing to do.
Yeah, because the guy is free now. The other guy, Harry, he's
Hmm.
free now for like the case. But meanwhile, Kim Velasquez is waiting trial, and he's gonna be
That's
taken away from his
craziness.
kids because of it. And everybody that you talk to, like, yeah, it makes sense. He will do that to try to kill that guy
Right.
for doing that. Because I mean, he was getting away with it. It's messed up.
It is? Yeah. Fuck. Really hope they, take that into account
Mhm.
for the sentencing.
Yeah, he was recently like in his the Kyle Kingsbury podcast. He was in Tim Kennedy's podcast, and also I think Rampage Jackson podcast too, talking about it. Hmm. So I mean, everybody like you talk about him. He's like you should listen introvert. He's like a one of those guys that he grinds all the time. I mean, he's sparring sessions with DC will be a main event anywhere.
Yeah.
DC speaks well about him too. Like he calls his brother.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean he's sad that he's going through, but he said he's um he's willing to pay for the price of the sentencing because he said what he did wasn't right. He acted out of rage, but it's understandable what he did. It's understandable, but not the right thing to do.
Right. Right.
He said it should have taken justice in his own hands.
Hmm.
Oh man, it's rough.
That is. Yeah, I'm just reading up a little bit about it, but yeah.
I mean, he doesn't do any justice when he shows up to court and then like, see his picture of him when he's fighting. What's the tattoo is on his shirt, on his neck? See what it says?
I had it just now. Pride?
Brown pride.
Brown pride.
My God, this is a gang member,
Yeah, for real.
but he like He competed, I think, 2006 to 2019. After that, he went to pro wrestling. But 2019 was a rough year for him because his mom died in 2019, and so did his brother die in 2019. Yeah, so it was rough for him. Yeah, I think that's probably what made him like retire from MMA because MMA takes a lot of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, those are huge losses to have all at once. So now I imagine coping with that and trying to just grind through the training required that wouldn't go well.
Did you see who he had to fight?
No, I
2019, this up and comer by the name of Francis Ngannou.
really.
Yeah, I was like, what would they give you Francis Ngannou in 2019? Like Jesus.
Huh. That's so did he actually fight Nagano? Yep. Yep. Maestri.
He beat that shit out of Cain Velasquez. 26 seconds in the first round. Yeah. Because one of those, he hit him and it looked like his knee buckled. He's trying to come up, he got hit again. There's not somebody you want to get hit by.
No. No. Absolutely not. Yeah. How's Nagano doing actually? He moved to one, right?
No, PFL.
PFL. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they gave it a crazy contract because he's kind of like ambassador of PFL for like as far as like a liaison like for Africa. Like some fighters coming up into PFL, which back in the day used to be called World Series of Fighting, but that's PFL.
Okay.
But he has a crazy deal with them. That's why he went over there instead of staying with the UFC.
Okay. That's
But I think he only had one fight since. Yeah, he only had one fight since he moved there. His last fight in the UFC was 2022. His first fight in PFL was in 2024.
interesting. Yeah, I thought I hadn't really seen much of him lately, and I guess that's why.
Also, he lost a child along the way between there and there.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
That's probably why he took some time off.
Yeah, I would imagine. He's had a couple boxing matches.
Yeah,
Tyson
Tyson
Fury. I heard about the Tyson Fury, but Anthony Joshua, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think Joshua pissed him up.
Really?
But yeah, he knocked him out. Second round knockout against Anthony Joshua.
That's another one of those, I think, hard to cross into sports. Boxing.
Mhm.
I think it's fairly unique movements and skills, I think, that
Yeah.
are maybe not, well, yeah, not practical like in the MMA world.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of habits and stuff built into the rules of boxing that are just not really practical for MMA.
Mhm.
But it really does seem like, yeah. Plus, I mean, just the conditioning and everything that goes into boxing is, I mean, it's very specific. I think.
Yeah, because you lose 50% of your target. You can only go for the
Right.
waist up.
Right.
You can only use your
And you
hands.
can only use your arm. Exactly. Yeah.
There's no grabbing,
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I feel like that.
and the angles are different. Distance different.
Yeah.
Because like if you stand sideways in MMA, you're gonna get your leg chop up. You're gonna get kicked right in the hamstring.
Yeah.
So it'll be the end of you. And you have different
Now,
guards to use as well in boxing there because you have a whole big gloves to protect you.
heavy gloves.
Mm-hmm.
The yeah, standing sideways and that is funny. Yeah, smaller target for punching, but very big target for kicking.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
The only thing that might prevent is the teep.
Might you get kicked in the calf?
Just meat. Oh my god.
Like
Yeah.
there's no
Would
checking
stop
that.
working real quick. Right, exactly. There would be no way.
That's what I said that Diaz brothers were more susceptible to leg kicks than other fighters because they stand with the boxing stance. Heavy front leg. Heavy front leg.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how Conor was able to beat Nate in the second fight.
Yeah.
Because Diaz brothers didn't go for takedowns.
Right.
So you can throw leg kicks in there.
That is interesting. The Diaz bros have a kind of a traditional jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Most of the striking comes from boxing.
What was that?
Most of their striking comes from boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for Nate. Nick has some kicks. He has an axe kick. He like all the kind of kicks. But Nate does not. I think Benson Henderson chop his leg off like that. Because he was one of the first guys to do low leg kicks.
Okay, they show themselves again and again as extremely effective.
Yeah, because just think about you kick somebody in the thigh, you have bigger target, and also like when you hit, he has bigger mass to hit, but you have a smaller target to hit with your shin to shin, or the shin like on the outside of the shin. And if you do that, it turns off the foot in which they're planting. It makes a big problem
Right.
because it takes away the footing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, that's one of those things too. Is like if you really conditioned your shins for that, like if you have better conditioned shins than the guy you were fighting, it doesn't matter if he checks as much because the shin to shin hurts a lot.
Yeah.
And so you get to choose between that kind of pain or the I'll let him hit my calf this time and then eventually shuts off the foot. Like, oh my gosh. I remember, yeah. Yeah. That is brutal. That hurts so much.
I've seen the video somebody sent on the group. Like those guys are kicking each other's leg, like leg kicks, and one of the guys he broke his leg.
I don't know. I remember that one.
And, like they were just like instead of like power slap, they were kicking each other's leg. One will kick the leg, the other will kick the leg, and one of those the guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, dude, like for some reason I thought he hit the guy's kneecap. If you hit somebody's kneecap, your chin is gonna be fucked. For some reason, it hurts so much. You're getting hit in the kneecap, but you hit it like on just the right place, it'll break your shin. That's happened to I think that's happened to Wyman too.
Really, yeah. Yeah, oh, that is crazy.
Which is
Yeah.
worse, when they break and snap, or when they plant it? Which is more gruesome?
I feel like, honestly, the planting probably.
Yeah, I think it's planted because you break it, and you know it's broken, but it has to pierce the skin. When they plant, that's when the bone comes through the skin. It's a flip. And I think about it. I didn't think about how it makes things more complicated. Until like my wife, she broke her arm, and then like when I saw like Alex Smith, the football player, when he broke his leg. When he broke his leg, he was in the field and he was broke through the skin. So you already have sweat, you have the germs, stuff like that. Take into
Yeah.
considerations to the bacteria that can get in your bloodstream. And also if you like tear an artery, you're not taking time bomb without like you gonna bleed out on the place. So like it's just like
Mm,
just different variables. If you break also it breaks difference. You break it like this,
yeah.
compared to a spiral break. A spiral break is like a fracture is hard to put together. You have to like
Right, right. Because it kind of splinters things.
just that like alone because once you break it, once you hit, there's not so much trouble of like it's still trouble, but like just break, snap, and then you go into place. They can, but once you plant that and your foot just turn,
Hmm.
that's just makes things complicated. And then it comes through the skin. That's even more complicated because
Hmm.
you have to
Yeah,
take care of a wound and also take care of the fracture bone.
yeah. Ooh, yeah. I remember there was a basketball player when I was in high school. I remembered that he like jumped up and like planted one leg and it just snapped underneath him and he like held his leg up and the bone was sticking out.
Was it in college or was it in high school?
I thought it was college.
I think it's Louisville. I think you're talking about. It's a player from Louisville that when
Yeah.
he planted, the bone was sticking out to his front because it was a shin. It wasn't.
Yeah.
There's not
Yeah. Yep.
there's not much bone. I mean, there's not much muscle in the front of the shin. You just skin there,
Right.
so the bone just sticks right out.
Yeah, there's nothing to protect it at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is nasty.
yeah. I see another one like I think they're in the summer league. His name is Paul George, the basketball player, and they're playing. You can tell summer league because it was a place where they'll have the basketball hung on the from the ceiling or like they usually do. This one was like a post right under the basketball. And he tried to dunk, and when he dunked, his motion kept going. He put his foot on the bottom part where the post is, and his leg just because all his weight went in there. His heel got stuck at the bottom of the post, and his leg just went back. Well, all his weight broke his leg
Oh
right there
my
during the summer
god.
league. Like, oh shit.
Mm.
Damn it. Just like that.
Yeah. Yeah, just like that.
Which is
Oof.
a game of pickup technically because it's summer league.
Right. Right. Just getting that extra practice in, but
Yeah. You could be like Craig Jones, just no practice.
yeah,
You don't take it serious.
that's right. That's why. That's why you should do it.
Yeah. But man, those are crazy. Which do you think is worse, leg fractures or arm fractures in jiu-jitsu?
Leg,
Yeah,
I think.
because weight bearing.
Exactly. Yeah. The arm you can kind of get away with, but yeah, the leg I think is way worse.
Because it takes away your footing, like trying to stand up, nothing.
Hmm.
I mean, you break an arm, you win it by points, you stand up. As long as you don't get taken out, you're good.
Yeah. 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 That's the thing. Like you break an arm, like you can get up and you can cradle it yourself.
Mhm.
You break a leg, there's none of that. The best you can do is drag yourself.
But some guys they still compete with a broken arm or like a separated shoulder. Just Jacare, I think he did it against Verdum.
Hmm.
Leandro Lowe, I think he did it against Buchecha at Worlds.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just put his arm inside the gi and tie the belt and keep the arm inside and compete like that.
Crazy.
How much money are you winning in Worlds for you to compete?
It's not much. It's really not. I think it's more for the clout than anything.
Yeah, because there's no sponsor back then or nothing.
Mm-mm. Yeah, to each their own. I don't think I'd see myself doing that.
Yeah, it's wild. You can be showing up to a tournament like and be having like pins and plates like Batman. You see how many injuries you have. How much is too much?
There's some crazy jujitsu dudes out there. There's no doubt there.
Yeah, they're like Gumbies because everything is broken.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, speaking of injuries, not all the injuries that take tolls, but we don't see them till late. CTE.
That
What's
one's yeah, that's a serious one.
how was CTE stand for? Cranial traumatic encephalopathy.
Traumatic. Yep, chronic traumatic.
Encephalopathy, which is like swelling of the brain.
Really?
But usually would have seen like that word for encephalopathy, which is caused by repeated traumatic brain injuries, such as concussions. Like I've seen recently, like being a couple of like fighters, I've seen that they have a certain degree of CTE or like they're like full blown. Like there's no in between. We see like fighters that have that.
Mhm.
It's hard to diagnose it if you're when you're alive, when you're not only able to tell your brains when you're dead.
Yeah, yeah. Well, true, but it does make itself pretty obvious at times.
Yeah, like some fighters, for example, like Tate Diaz, and like have you heard of people? Well, in boxing they call it punch drunk.
Mhm.
Their slur speech, like you can understand. Um, there was a prospect. I can't remember his last name was Farm or something like that. He was a really like a good prospect to be a like a UFC champion. He goes to the Ultimate Fighter too. What's the reason they want to say he was like a nurse and also he was a fighter at the same time? And then they show a video of him last year, and boy, you cannot understand what he's saying. How much damage he's taking.
Wow, that's hard to see. I mean, that's terrible. There's no getting that back. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
Like another guy, an example is Shane Carwin. He's another guy that he was a title contender at heavyweight. I think he was an interim champion. I think he beat Frank Mir for the interim title. They fought Brock Lesnar to unify the title. He was, I think, double major in college. He was national champion at D3. I think one of his let me look up his major. Because for some reason it's like some sort of engineering degree that he had. Bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering for Colorado School of Mines. A bachelor's degree in environmental technology, Western State College. So a mechanical engineer in environmental technology. That was it. But now he can't even hold a bouncer job because of so much brain injury that he had.
Yeah, that's yeah. I feel like it's definitely one of those things that sneaks up on you, and I feel like it would be hard to stop once you're kind of on that path. because obviously you like fighting, you like training, but yeah, that is one of the beauties of grappling being my main thing.
Yeah.
It's far less common, at least.
What would you say is the point of diminishing return in which you think the use is worth the squeeze as far as like for that sport?
For like boxing or
From
MMA?
MMA, the MMA, because you have the option. Boxing is different. Oh man, different. For do you think boxing is more brutal when it comes to brain injury than the MMA? Because you get rocked and you get knocked down, and you have a 10 count. You stand back up and they put you back in the fight.
Mhm.
Once you get knocked out in MMA, that's it, in the match.
Right. I hadn't really thought about that. I mean, the fact that it is exclusively striking versus, having other routes to go might also be something, but I don't know. It could be. I mean, you see, like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson clearly took some hits. I mean, he's not saying he's not the worst I've seen, but,
Mhm.
he definitely took some
Also, his career
hits.
wasn't that long too. I saw there like boxers stay in the game for too long.
Yeah.
Like Vander Holyfield stayed for a long time. Well, the other, especially I can think of is Bernard Hopkins. He was like a old, like in his 40s, he was like fighting still as a boxer. Though he looks pretty cognitive and lucid, not like other boxers stay too long. But also, he was known for being a defensive boxer as well.
Yeah, that's a big, big difference. Like Muhammad Ali, he didn't take that many hits, right? I don't know a lot about him, but I thought he was pretty.
He didn't take some fights. I also look at the guys he fought. George Foreman, he hit like a Mack truck. What's another guy that he fought? Fraser, Joe
Mhm.
Fraser. It's another one like he that like the heavy hitters that he went against that he didn't get hit much, but heavyweight when you get hit by somebody, you get rocked. So those think about it like have you heard the analogy of a punching ticket?
Of a punching
Like
ticket.
those punch tickets, whenever you do some war, like you get like someone punches tickets for like you get so many stars, you get a free ice cream. Those puncher tickets.
Okay. Yeah.
You think about like that, but like you have a small puncher, like you make smaller, but if you have like bigger hole puncher, that's not like heavyweights. So less room you have available in that ticket. That ticket is gonna run out much
Yeah.
faster than you
Yeah.
go for a smaller. So just think about it like once you run out of ticket space, that's your brain right there,
Mhm.
and your brain cells don't grow back like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it really is. It really is crazy. It seems it's funny how there's some people who go like a lifetime, make a professional career, and come out and at least maybe that's the problem. Maybe I'm too far away, but it looks like they're not that affected. They don't have major CTE or anything. But I know like several fighters up in Maine that I trained with that they'd been doing it a long time, but like they never made it anywhere. It wasn't like a full time job for them. But like I would say they had more CTE than because it just they were kind of like always on edge, like always ready to snap, and like even rolling with them, there was this like I don't know. I knew I had to watch myself a little bit because like if I made this guy mad, he probably would try to hurt me type deal.
Uh-huh. Well, is that one of the symptoms for CTE, in which your frontal cerebral cortex is the one that usually take the most damage? I think the pituitary gland is also takes a toll, in which is a fight or flight response of your body. So like you do things compulsive, but you don't really take up the consequences of those actions you were going to do. It's like a short fuse type of behavior.
Right? Yeah.
Also, when you say those people that you were talking about, what kind of trainings were they doing when they were coming out? That they're like,
It's a good question. To be honest, most of them I wasn't really a part of their like full routine. I was only there for the grappling, so
uh
it's hard to say exactly. I would hazard to guess that they, probably weren't training the best.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I've heard a lot, like with striking and stuff, that it's kind of a dumb idea to go full on 100% with your training partners.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there might be times to do that, but it would be very rare.
It's equivalent if lifting weights maxing out every day.
Yeah,
You can't do that.
yeah.
Especially when you do things in which you get injured, the part that gets injured does not recover at all, especially your brain. I think Bass Roden is another guy that's a striking example. It seems like he seems a reasonable person as far as striking, but he said whenever they will spar, they won't go as hard to the head, but they'll go hard to the body.
That makes sense. That you can condition, that you can recover from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, keep yourself from being shut down by being hit hard. Like
Mm-hmm.
that kind of experience would be very valuable. But
Yeah, that's what he.
yeah, true. Yeah, if you could take somebody down with a liver shot that was like used to it,
Mm-hmm.
as used to it as you can be. I don't know. I don't. Can you? You must be able to train liver shots, but like, oh,
I don't know
like,
because it is like getting hit. How do you, well, maybe somebody gets used to getting kicked in the nuts. There's a difference there because I think that your physiological response is that your blood pressure changes when you get hit in the liver. So that's why your body's shocked.
okay,
When you get hit, you don't feel it then, and then eventually you get like that shock wave, like blood.
interesting, huh?
That's how you see like a delay response when somebody get hit in the liver, and they're suddenly you see them
Wow.
because it's like that cramp after.
Yeah,
It's not really the hit; it's the cramp after your liver.
that is interesting. Have you ever taken a liver shot?
No, I have not.
No. There was one time my coach up in Maine like lined us against the wall, and they were doing conditioning to getting punched in the stomach. Well, it got like a hook on me. My God, I shut down. I fell over. I had a newfound respect for somebody who gets hit in the liver. Like I now have a slight understanding. Because it's not like we were even going that hard. Like he didn't like nail me, but I mean, it was solid, but it wasn't not all out.
Sometimes it's just the grazing, just hitting you. Boom.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That was painful.
I only got
But
like solar plexus tip. When I used to get Mark
mhm.
sparring, just a lot of like boom tip kick, and he tried to like multi-plumb like to go like was doing striking, but I was trying to go for either liver shot or spleen when I was in the plumb
Mhm.
because he had to let go after that, especially the spleen. Boom, just punch him on that side. Not a lot of people think about the spleen shot.
Right.
No,
No, I can't say. Yeah, it's true.
because a lot of people go for solar plexus, like bigger target hit there. But if you hit the spleen, like
Actually, I don't know where spleen. I gotta look up where that is.
it's like right
Spleen.
on the top left. I think it's the top left of your abs. That's where it's located.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Kind of like lower ribs.
Yeah, that's usually one of the main injuries that football players have. Rupture spleen when they get tackled,
What does the spleen do? Get my very small.
withdraw your blood. So, moral of the story: if you can target any of the organs of your opponent in which has to do both their cardiovascular or their bloodstream, you're on the win. If you cannot beat their liver, you cannot beat their spleen, at least you can gas them out.
Yeah. Yeah. The human body takes that personally.
Yes. I was going to bring an example of like a CTE, like the BJ Penn situation. Like that's sad because he's like a legend of the sport.
Hmm.
But see him like that, like this is a video. Let me know you can see it of him talking about his mother right here. Let me see. Let me know you can hear.
No, I can't hear it.
Can you hear it?
Mm-mm.
Can you read the the?
Yeah, I can. Yep.
That's sad.
Wow.
Somebody like a legend of the sport.
Mm-hmm. Is he still training or?
Not to my knowledge, he used to have a UFC gym in Hawaii. I don't know if he still does after COVID.
Okay. Yeah, it says right here in the first thing. Symptoms can vary widely and may not appear for years or even decades after the initial TBIs.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because you don't even realize the damage that's done at all,
Yeah.
and it just might hit.
And he said that the government killed his mother and his brother, and then they're posting like they're his relatives, which is like sad because that's his mom right there in front of him. He's saying
Right,
that all the stuff.
right. That's gonna be heartbreaking for her.
Yeah. I saw later in his career he looked like he was a shell for himself because they now I think forced him to retire
Hmm.
because he wasn't fighting like the old BJ Penn.
Right.
When he got a rematch with Frankie Edgar, he had like a straight up like a bare knuckle boxer stance, straight up. It was like a MMA stance,
Okay.
like feet together up here.
Yeah. Yeah. That is. Yeah.
He was considered like one of the goats at one point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he had an amazing career. I mean, he was one of those insanely natural talent, just almost unbelievably naturally talented.
I mean, he's one of the first two champs. He beat Matt Hughes 170 and then won that to 155 and won two. I think he submitted Matt Hughes.
Really? Okay.
A very naked show. And Matt Hughes is Matt Hughes.
Right.
But he has a it's not a justifiable CTE, but it's understandable how Matt Hughes his injuries that he has.
What? What? What do you mean?
He was in his truck and his truck got hit by a train back in the day.
Yeah, I did hear that. I did hear that actually.
He had to
Yeah.
recover from it. He had to learn how to walk in. Like one of the biggest like milestone that he had was when he was able to walk up the steps. After learn how to walk again after being in that train wreck. But like his ex-wife was questioning like why was he his car on the railroad tracks? Because he said like was showing some symptoms of like brain injury or something.
Yeah. Although it's not impossible, it does happen that
Mm-hmm.
cars get hit by trains. So it's not like it's
Yeah.
had to be that. But yeah, true. It is.
Have you listened to the Bryce Mitchell?
I keep hearing different tidbits about him.
He is a big, what you call, he's a big flat earth guy.
Yes.
You hear about that?
Bits and pieces. Yeah.
But yeah, man, this guy, like, he, he said, like, ever since his last, or he also, like, stuff that he said about his first podcast, he lost his co-host.
Yeah. Yeah.
He, he said, like, Hitler wasn't a bad guy.
Right. Yeah, I did hear that.
And then, recently, he was, what you call, he was talking about being attacked, like, by Legion of Demons after the press conference that he had recently.
A legion of demons and beautiful women, right? Something like that. I thought there was something about beautiful women attacking him or something like that.
Yeah, in his dreams. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, like to like, yeah, beautiful woman with big titties and luscious ass attacking me in my sleep. Like, no, you man, that's just you, man.
Yeah.
But man, calling my name in my sleep, wake up with my wet up bed every morning. Like, hey, man, are you a teenager?
For real
Like,
though,
hitting
yeah.
puberty? That's every teenager in the nation right now.
It's no lie.
But yeah, like, have you ever seen? He put seen a video where he talks about explaining flat Earth. That if you put a helicopter in the air for 24 hours hovering on the Earth, if the Earth was spinning, you won't land on the same spot. That's just if he said that Earth is flat. That's like, oh,
Dang, you got me.
yeah, like yeah, I know what I'm talking about. If you do your research for yourself, like oh boy.
Oof.
But like I don't understand. Do you want to go into the topic of flat Earth?
Sure, why not?
Like, like, how do people believe in that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Things like how do you not run out of water because it's dumping over the edge, or I don't know what they believe about the edges. Actually, that's a
Because
question.
you look at the sky, you see the horizon, you see the curvature of the Earth. Whenever you fly, you take consideration the curvature of the Earth. If you have a freaking compass, it shows you the angle of a degree of true north in your compass. It depends the place you are in Earth. That's just simple. You can like something like that.
Do they believe in compasses?
I don't know what they believe in. They believe in things that they're not real.
Yeah.
So like it's hard to rationalize people are like that. But like, how do you believe in? For example, Rampage Jackson is a flat Earth guy.
Oh, really? I didn't
Because
know
of
that.
the because it's like for example, the other example he said was about planes. What's a plane? Planes are flat. And like what they call airplanes. Like not because it's plane, it's because you have to be flat where you have to land probably. That's what they call airplanes. But yeah, how do you believe it's a city or is it just plain dumb?
Yeah. I mean, definitely for some people it's not CTE, but
I think like all the people that go into space, they take a picture of Earth that's around it and they make it up.
well, I've heard actually like I've met more people that believe we've not made it to space than I have flat earthers. Yeah.
Space, like out of the
Yeah.
stratosphere, not just
Correct.
like outer space. Talk about just outer stratosphere because outer stratosphere is just considered in outer space.
They just they don't believe we made it to the moon or anything like that. They think that was all just put on.
What's his name? Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about that, like the moon landing. At the time of the moon landing, it will cost more money to do like a CGI or like a made up, like a moon
Mm.
landing, that it will be to go to the moon itself.
That's funny.
It's like,
I hadn't heard that, but that's funny.
how hard is it to replicate the gravitational pull of the moon on Earth? Just that simple. It's hard to like you cannot shift gravity unless you have to like, be able to like get really really high and
Mm.
drop really really fast so you can like be
Yeah.
able to get that. No, you have to like acceleration due to gravity. You have to actually do terminal velocity for you to like be zero gravity. So like it's hard. At the time they were not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean things like the tides and the sun and moon disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what are those? I don't know.
How about time zones?
Right? Yeah.
Time zones. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. True. That's the thing though. I feel like there's some people that just like so made up on something. There's you can come up with some excuse for something. Like you could take these people on a flight around the planet and they would say, "Oh, it's just a simulation." You know what I mean? Like there'd be something.
Yeah. So you mean to tell me that your ear pop is not simulation? Your physiological response
Hmm.
up to the different pressure of altitude
No,
is
they just pressurize the cabin differently. No, it's craziness, but you can explain away anything with.
you haven't looked into that's what it is. You don't understand.
That's right. That's right.
Do you think well there's a saying that conspiracy theories exist because they can drag you into their subject matter because they know more about it than you do, and that's how they can win the argument.
You say that's why they exist?
Yeah, like what that's what they are around, like just because of the conspiracy, they're like, okay, let's talk about this, and like that, yeah, I'm more right than you are, and because you don't know about it, you're wrong. So like,
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
you know, a cool thing about science, you don't have to believe in it for it to be real.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's the difference.
yeah. I don't know. There's yeah, a lot of questions that arise with the flat Earth.
Hmm.
I'm genuinely curious what they think is at the edges.
Yeah,
How is the Earth not like just like crumbling off into the void or whatever?
yeah. There's somebody else like somebody else like posted something on Twitter about many flat earthers believe around the world. It's like read the sentence again.
Wait a second.
You cause the flat earth around the world. There's, you have to take that out your vocabulary. You're a real flat earther
Yeah,
because there's
that's
no
funny.
around the world where there's earth that's flat. Yeah, it's hard. And he also another thing he said about gravity. Gravity does not exist. The only reason why the gravity you feel that there's no gravitational pull. The only reason we stay on Earth is because dense mass, because we're more dense than the air, and that's why we stay on the ground more than like. What? What about
That
objects
is
that?
gravity.
Yeah.
What?
So like that's the reason why we stay like grounded. But how about objects that are lighter? How do they still drop to earth, to the ground?
That's crazy.
If you fill a balloon with air, you throw it out a window, and it falls. How dense is that really balloon? It might take longer for it to hit the ground, but it still hits the ground because of gravitational pull. How do satellites in the moon work? They stay in orbit to Earth without gravity, and they are outside the atmosphere.
Yeah, true. That is, I mean, that's true. Do they not like telescopes either?
Apparently not.
Explain that away? Because I mean, you can see the moon. That's pretty round. That's obviously round.
Every night
Every night.
it comes out. Even during the daytime, you can see it sometimes.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy.
Now another example. You see a lunar eclipse. Do you see a line or do you see a circle? During lunar eclipse, it's a circle, right? Because the shade of the Earth
Yeah.
between the moon and the sun blocks the moon. Have you ever thought about that?
To them, it just looks like a Minecraft, like
Yeah,
moon. You know, it's a square that moves in front of the other square.
yeah. Oh God, how do you not understand? Like, it's hard to rational with people like that.
It is. It is. Do
I
you think
think that
Bryce Mitchell's is CTE, or do you think that's he's just like,
I think he's just stubborn. He means well, but he's just too stubborn, and he like maybe seeing there's different to city and contrarian. And if you're somebody that's contrarian and like just like a rebel without cause, just to be opposite of what the people say, like you just a rebel without cause is like you have too many things to be contrary about. But if you're like, if there's example like you're like a rebel and you like go against certain things, like oh, that's understandable, like for a cause. But if you like a rebel without a cause, just to be a contrary, just to be against everybody else, and I'm not example for contrarian and but like going gravitating towards like people that are against it. Gordon Ryan. How many times you like to argue with politics stuff? Like, dude, it's not really that serious.
yeah,
Like,
right,
just yeah, if they believe in order, let them be, man. You have to like argue, you have to pick a fight with everybody.
yeah. No, yeah, he likes being the bad guy. I think.
Do you think that's is he trying to stay relevant or because he's not competing currently or what's the deal?
I mean, some people just do have super strong opinions and
Hmm.
feel like their opinion has to be heard. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Hmm.
I have a hard time believing he feels like he needs to stay relevant. I think he's cocky enough that he,
Hmm.
you know, I mean, he is relevant.
Yeah,
There's,
that's
it's
valid.
hard to argue that, but
But I was wondering why does he do it?
I don't know.
Because he doesn't have to do that.
Right.
I've seen a clip of Joy Diaz is
Yeah.
the comedian. He's like, man, I don't know why everybody has an opinion of politics nowadays. Nobody talking about ass. Nobody talking about women nowadays. Everybody's a fucking politician. Like this or that. Like, no man, a woman back in the day. Nobody talks about that anymore. What the hell is we going into? Like,
What is
fair
wrong
enough.
with
Man.
this place?
I know, right? I'm tired. This is America. I went to jail for prison as a felon and come back for nothing. Yeah, like that's true. Like a lot of people like to argue about politics, just like that, like not like enjoying life instead of like just
Right.
trying to misery each other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I know. That's not my thing, but
it takes so much effort too,
right.
like to do
Yeah.
that.
There's so much based around it. I feel like a lot of it is just for media companies, I think,
That's
because
true.
they make money off controversy. So it's something that it's really easy to make other people hate each other, and there's your controversy.
Isn't that what Facebook got in trouble for, like engagement during the 2020 elections? I think whistleblower was about engagement, so like things that will enrage that another group, they produce most engagement because they were angry towards that.
Hmm. I don't know. I don't remember hearing about that, but it's believable.
Yeah, there was a whistleblower. There's a woman. I can't remember. She went to Congress, a congressional hearing, and that's like, coincidentally, Facebook went down the day that she went to the congressional hearing. Shut down. But she talked about like during the 2020 uh, election, she talked about like how like there were like more groups that are active, and some of them were just made up. So like be like create more engagement. So you post something that somebody doesn't like, people are like willing to post those kind of posts and create more engagement so you can piss other people off.
Right.
Emotions. Same thing on like some certain like news media, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News,
Mhm.
like their headlines. They're created for like dividing.
Exactly, exactly. That irritates me a lot. Is I see a lot of. It seems like almost all political headlines are like something that is designed to make you feel angry or some strong emotion very
Mhm.
quickly
Yeah,
without without actually doing justice to whatever they're talking about. I don't
yeah.
know.
And this person that's wearing a different color time than me did this. They're like,
Yeah,
what do you think about this? Like those kind of things.
yeah, yeah.
Like just like these, and people buy into it.
Strongly, yeah, yeah. And I don't know. I just feel like it keeps you from enjoying life if you're that invested in stuff that you can't even control.
Is it like feels like after the COVID like 19, and like it seems like more like more see more the people like that because a lot of people's freedoms were taken away during that time, and also like it's the mentality of tribal with sports just like moved into politics to a certain extent, and it is and yeah, I agree with that person. Yeah, like, I agree with them. It becomes like a it just become it went from like a rumor into echo chambers, which people just regurgitate other people's information, what they heard from things that they agree on, just like the flat Earth thing. This like, oh yeah, this is right. They're like this, right, and they just like, yeah, it's a what's it called, confirmation bias, in which you look for things. The internet, if you want to look for stuff like that you agree with, and you will look for stuff like, oh yeah, look, the
Exactly.
internet shows that yeah, I'm right, and
Yep.
you don't try to look for a compromise, like a territory or like they're not willing to compromise, like from both sides of the argument. You rather be right all the time.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. I don't know. That's the thing. It's not about compromise or getting to solutions anymore. It's all about one opinion over another. I don't know.
Yeah, crazy, man. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
hard to understand because I had to like raise my kid around there, like had to like socialize with people, but the people that the way they socialize nowadays is way different when I was growing up.
Yeah. 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 Kind of in wrestling, I guess.
Yeah, I know, right? So you just compete to get you better because like other sports, like some of your success is based on somebody else's opinion. Like for example, judging in gymnastics or like things like
Hmm.
that. Like it's based on like somebody's opinion. And most of the time, opinions are subjective. It's not like like quantifiable.
Right. Yeah. You got something like a fighting sport of some kind, and it's really hard to skew that. That's not
Yeah,
really opinion based, typically,
unless
with
it's
some exceptions.
IBJJF.
Yeah.
Your name is not Portuguese. But other than that, yeah, it also builds your character, like forge your character to a certain extent, like
Hmm.
using that avenue.
Hmm. Yep. It's just you and one other person out there, and it's your will against theirs, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how much homework do you do?
Hmm. Yep. Yeah, it really drives home that the prep work, like the winning of the match, is done beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's driven home more because there's nothing to hide behind.
Also, like your chances of winning is directly correlated to the amount of time you spend preparing for it.
Yep.
But how about that? If you prepare to compete and you only work on one thing and not the rest, there's a higher degree of uncertainty because it's variable. For example, if you are competing in a grappling tournament or like a MMA and you only work on punching while standing, and then the game has entails more than just that, and you only practice on your right hand punch, like you did your homework by working hard, but there's a lot more room for growth
Right.
and uncertainty at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it comes into strategy as well, but
Mhm. You have to be willing to work other bases,
mhm.
but also working your craft at the same time. That's like a dichotomy of the training part.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem like a lot of winners though have their very strong thing that they do, you know.
Mhm.
Usually like guys who like win a lot or consistently, it seems like they can compete in different areas, but really they get their strength a lot of the time. I mean, there's some guys that are just good at everything, it seems like, but
Mhm. So for example, Dean Lister, Joko talks about him. Dean Lister known
mhm,
for his leg locks, but he say if you go to him and ask about a move, he'll be able to break it down to you because he knows the moves
mhm,
of like this have not to do with leg locks. Because he's worked like so much time,
mhm.
my time that he spent.
I thought about that a lot with like Gordon Ryan as well.
Mhm.
'Cause I feel like he could probably break down about any move,
Mhm.
even though he's got his strong suits. I feel like he probably knows a much higher level of detail of stuff that is not his game than a lot of people have of their game,
Mhm.
just because of the level he's at.
Yeah, it's good not to be the target facility because it also helps you better. Kind of like a student in school. If you only focus on being good in math, but you don't like pay attention to other uh, subjects, you won't do well as a student.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, I mean, school forces you to be well rounded. If you want to do well, then you have to do well at everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of colleges, whenever they look for applications, look not just for your what you do, but also like extracurricular activities and other like groups and things that you have done, and like
Hmm.
other than just school. Be able to like apply it yourself because most of the time the class that you're doing is more like a obedience test, not like forcing you to think outside the box by
Yeah,
yourself,
yeah,
which is more practical in real life.
yes,
So don't be one dimensional in life.
right.
It's okay to be a because there's that like the other side of the coin is jack of all trades, master of none. Have you
Yeah,
heard that?
yeah,
But you want to be good at something,
hmm,
but also be able to be well rounded in other things.
right.
Not just be like a complete ignorant to things.
Yeah. I mean, you know the full saying for that one, right?
No,
Jack of all trades, master of none, but still better than a master of one or something like that.
I haven't heard that.
It's got a whole, yeah, it's a whole thing in there, but
Yeah, because like for example, if you like jujitsu, let's take it to jujitsu. If you only teach somebody just to attack a body part and just like ignore the rest of the body,
yeah,
it's like that person will only be good in that part of the body, but whenever they know to get to that part of the body, their jujitsu game is negated.
hmm, yeah,
So they're like target fixated
right, yeah.
when it comes to competing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, yeah, it does help sometimes, I think, to have more aspects to the game just so that you have another option in case they shut down your main option.
And that's the beauty of the game. Be able to interchange from positions to different submissions.
Okay, so jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
That sounds about right. Yeah. There's one of the things that you don't read the whole thing. The first of all, like acres, analogy that don't fly too close to sun because your wings melt. But also you fly too low to the water weigh you down and you crash into the sea. It's kind of like a medium.
Right. I always got to find that balance.
Mhm.
I think that tends to be the hard part though, because I feel like it's really easy for a lot of people is just to go to extremes. I don't know. I don't know if that's just like a human instinct or what, but it does seem like extremes are pretty attractive a lot of the time.
Because hard work, now they go back to the hard work analogy, in which hard work usually is rewards. So you go really hard, your rewards will come a lot faster. But if you're too towards one way, working hard towards one way, something's gonna give. It might not be the rewards that you want either.
Yeah, might be a broken down body.
Yeah, tell that to wrestler. They have to get knee replacements at 30.
I believe that. Yeah, I can only imagine.
Hip replacement, all kinds of stuff. Oh, your hard work does pay off, but also you have to live the rest of your life afterwards.
Right. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. If you like the episode, and maybe if you don't, give us a like and a follow on Instagram. You can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube. And you said you set it up so we are live on YouTube now?
Yeah, for now we're live on YouTube for right now. So we're recording and we're going live at the same time. So you willing to listen live or you wanna call in live whenever we're going live? Welcome
You want to
aboard.
see it as it happens?
Yes.
You got your chance now.
Yes. All editing. Raw. Yeah, thank you again for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Till next time. Thank you.